Eamon Moyaldeen, thanks for that. Let's bring in Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, Senior Fellow at the London Center for Policy Research. He's former Army intelligence and ran black ops against the Taliban in Afghanistan. And for the political implications, we have John Stanton, Washington Bureau Chief at BuzzFeed. Tony, I'll start with you. Sure. We don't leave any man or woman in uniform behind. That is the promise we make to every soldier, and I think that is a very important promise that we make as a nation. In this situation, though, a lot of extra stuff along with that. A soldier who may have grown disillusioned, to put it nicely, with what it meant to be an American and to be a soldier. Right. Somebody who we had to trade 5 people for, we had to negotiate with terrorists, with the enemy for. Is the price in this situation too high for your taste?
Let me hit that in 3 parts. First, absolutely. We need to bring our guys back no matter what. He wanted to come back. We wanted them back. With that said, the price is pretty high. We essentially traded 5 4-star generals for 1 sergeant private, depending on your perspective. And the other thing is as much as I think there's been criticism of the president on this, I agree with the president that ultimately reconciliation is the only way to end the war there. The idea, however, is that you don't give away your 5 aces in one swoop, and that's where I'm really critical here. I think that obviously we've got to work our way through this, but again, giving 5 for 1 is not a good odd. In this case, I think there's going to be a lot more questions about the circumstance of Bergdahl's departure, as well as what was going on behind the scenes, and exactly what is Qatar going to do for us to secure these guys while we're still in Afghanistan conducting military operations.
So, Tony, if I'm hearing you correctly, you don't have a problem on principle here with the idea of the administration negotiating indirectly or directly with the Taliban for release of prisoners, but you think the 5-to-1 ratio was too much to give away. Now, the administration says that they were concerned that Sergeant Bergdahl's health was deteriorating. Perhaps that's why they felt pressure to give up maybe more than they wanted to. How much should concerns over his health have weighed into this decision?
Great question. I'm not sure if the health issue is as much a factor as they're saying it is. And let me add to the picture that there were at least 2 other options besides this option available to the president. I know that for a fact. So this was not the only option. Other things could have been done. Representative Mike Rogers talked about some of the other options which were available. He didn't say what they were. I can't say what they are. But suffice to say that there's other things that could have been done to bring him home.
Not to be specific, but you're talking about military options.
I'm talking about alternate negotiation options as well. And I'll say this. Pakistan controls the Haqqani network. All the information I have indicates to me that he was being held in Pakistan during, I'd say, 99.9% of the time he's been held. So I think we should have been pushing harder on the Pakistanis to basically clean up their own backyard. That's the issue.
John Stanton, Luke Russert here. I want to talk to you about what Chairman Buck McKeon told me earlier today on MSNBC in the Daily Rundown, which he said they will in fact have hearings about this up on Capitol Hill. And you're hearing, I'm sure, from your GOP sources this type of words. The imperial presidency once again. Here President Obama goes right past Congress to do as he pleases. In this case, in a really important matter, possibly of national security. Do you think this will feed into the summer of hearings, those hearings about Benghazi, those hearings about Lois Lerner, and open up another front, essentially, for the House GOP and Senate GOP to attack the Obama administration?
Yeah, I think that, short of any of these 5 guys being involved directly in some sort of an attack on Americans, that this is a solo issue probably doesn't have a lot of legs politically. But as part of this broader sort of tapestry of criticism from the Republicans against the administration, based on sort of these sort of extra procedural ways that they sort of deal with things, let's say, on everything from how they are implementing Obamacare to the Lois Lerner issue to Benghazi and others, that they feel like that there is this imperial sort of sense at the White House. And it does fit very much into that narrative for Republicans.
Even on immigration, it's like we can't move on immigration until we trust the president. Here's another area where they say they won't trust.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Well, it provides them, again, some kind of a backup in using that as a reason for not working with the administration on a lot of things, which, again, sort of gives them cover, frankly, for their own internal problems on issues like immigration. It does give them a good hand.
Yeah. John, it seems easy to be on the sidelines and say, look, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Our strategy should just be to kill off all the bad guys. And that's sort of the talking points we're hearing from the right wing. 1, that's not a reality. And 2, we've tried that for the
past 13 years, and look where that has gotten us. It seems like what we're hearing from the administration is they're hoping for this new chapter. You know, we have new leadership coming in Afghanistan, Karzai's going out, more pro-U.S. leadership, and they're hoping that maybe this will start a dialogue with the Taliban. Who knows where that will go, but that's sort of the sense that I'm getting. Is that your take?
Yeah, I think so. You know, the Taliban is a reality on the ground in Afghanistan. They're not going to go anywhere. And while they are listed as a terrorist organization, they are, in a sense, a governmental organization as well. And, you know, there has been, during the Bush administration, there were some backdoor talks with them. And during the Obama administration, there's been several efforts, you know, to try to find, you know, if not a peace, but at least some kind of way to talk with them. And I think, you know, the notion that we just don't talk to the Taliban is, I think, you know, a little far-fetched.
Yeah,
frankly.
it's not realistic either.
Yeah, I think that's right. Back to you, sir. Yep. We're now going to be debriefing Sergeant Bergdahl. So what does that look like?
Well, first off, he's got to have some downtime. Anytime you come out of a situation like this, you're talking about big-time decompression. This kid has been through hell. No matter how you feel about investigating him, not investigating him, he's got to be some time to recover. And then the debriefing starts. This is going to be a huge issue by the fact that we don't know what the circumstance was of his departure. There's two investigations are going to happen. What's something called a Article 15.6 investigation, which is to fact-finding, and potentially, depending on the circumstance, could be an Article 32 investigation, which is, under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, a criminal investigation. So no one really knows what's going to happen. Frankly, that's going to have something that the chain of command has to decide fairly quickly, depending on when it all happens.
Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, John Stanton, thank you both very much. Up next, the president takes on climate change.